Welcome to our next session on moving charges and magnetism. And in this particular session, we will be learning about Lorentz force, okay, and the various special cases in case of Lorentz force. Then, after learning about Lorentz force, we will step into the application of this particular special case in case of Lorentz force called as velocity selector. So today's discussion will be a bit uh, tediously easy, and one of the dead easiest concepts in this chapter is this particular session. Okay, so let's begin our discussion with Lorentz force. Now, what is a Lorentz force? Lorentz force we can define as the total force experienced by a charged particle moving in a region where both electric and magnetic fields are present. Okay, so Lorentz force, it is the combined force or the resultant force due to what? Due to the charged particle moving in both electric and magnetic field being combined. So such a variety of force is called Lorentz force. So what exactly it means, let us try to dig a bit deeper into this. So if we just try to take a look at this, so as you can notice, we can consider a particle carrying a charge of plus q moving with velocity v in the presence of both electric and magnetic field, and I'm choosing electric field as vector E and magnetic field as vector B here. So accordingly, we can see that electric force experienced by the charged particle will be what? Vector Fe, that will be equal to Q into vector E. Then secondly, magnetic force experienced by the charged particle will be vector Fm, that will be equal to Q into vector V cross vector B. This already we have seen in my first session itself on this particular chapter. So I'm not stressing much upon this particular formula. We know that magnetic force is given by QVB sine theta multiplied by QVB sine theta, or in vector form we can call it to be as what? Q into vector V cross vector B. So that force formula I'm writing here. Okay, so accordingly, if we just combine them, according to the definition, we know that the combined force is nothing but Lorentz force. So hence, let us sum them up. So vector F, I am taking it as the Lorentz force here, and thus vector F becomes equal to Fe plus Fm, and vector Fe and vector Fm, whose values we have already mentioned above. So very clearly, we will be obtaining this particular equation as you are noticing here: Q into E plus Q into vector V cross vector B. Then accordingly, finally I can write Lorentz force is equal to vector F is equal to Q into bracket vector E plus vector V cross vector B. Now this is what we have with regards to Lorentz force. I hope this particular discussion is clear to you all. So Lorentz force, a quick recap: it is the combined force experienced by a charged particle moving in a region where both electric and magnetic fields are present. So that is Lorentz force. Okay. So accordingly, we have obtained the formula for Lorentz force. Now let's move ahead to the special cases in this part. Okay. Fine. Now let's take a look at the special cases in this particular part. Now special cases, first special case I will consider when velocity of a charged particle is collinear to both electric and magnetic fields. That means velocity of the charged particle, that is vector V, vector E and vector B, that is magnetic field, all three are collinear. But my dear friends, remember the angle of 0 degree or 180 degree, what we have to consider, that should be considered with respect to magnetic field. This is most important thing that you have to remember. So accordingly, I can very easily say that the angle between velocity vector and magnetic field vector is either 0 degree or 180 degree, is it not? Because the velocity will always be linked to magnetic field, because in case of magnetic force we have V cross B. Remember that. So accordingly, I can very easily mention this. Then under this situation, I can see that a Lorentz force will become equal to Q into E plus QVB sine 0 degree, because V cross B can be written as V into B into sine theta, and theta is 0 degree here. So sine 0 is 0. Accordingly, we'll get Q into E as the Lorentz force. So what does this indicate? This indicates that the Lorentz force is the electrical Lorentz force here, because we have only the electrical force being present. So hence such kind of Lorentz force is called electrical Lorentz force. Okay, fine. Then hence the particle will have change in its velocity, momentum and kinetic energy. Understood, no? Because under the effect of magnetic field, we have seen in my previous session that the particle will execute a uniform circular motion, whereas under the electric field, the particle will have change in the direction of velocity, and hence there will be an acceleration, and the path followed will be a parabolic path. Remember that. So very clearly, since charge Q is moving along the electric field or moving along the magnetic field, because of that reason magnetic force is 0, and since it is moving along the electric field, the charge will experience a force due to electric field. So that is why we get what? Change in velocity, change in momentum and change in kinetic energy. Now this is what we are supposed to understand. I hope this part is clear to you all. Now let's proceed to our next step. Now let's consider the second special case. In this we consider the velocity vector, vector v, vector e and vector b, all three are mutually perpendicular to each other. Now under this situation, my dear friends, remember the angle between velocity and magnetic field will be 90 degree. For example, if I just take a look at this diagram, so hence I am taking theta equal to 90 degree here. Now let us take a look at the diagram here. So here we have charge Q moving with velocity v in the rightward direction. Okay, and magnetic field has been taken as a cross. Cross means vertically inward here, and electric field is taken vertically downward from plus to minus, as you can notice in the diagram. So accordingly, we tend to see that magnetic field is vertically inward and velocity vector is like this. Then here we have electrical vector moving, electric field vector moving vertically downward. So accordingly, we can comfortably see that, very easily see that all three are at 90 degree to each other. So hence we will consider the angle between velocity vector and magnetic field vector, that is theta, equal to 90 degree. Okay, then if we substitute this particular value in the equation, Lorentz force equation, what happens? Let us see that. Then we tend to see that Lorentz force F will be equal to Q into E plus QVB sine 90 degree. So that is nothing but QE plus QVB, that is Q into bracket E plus V into B. Now this is the force, Lorentz force that we have. So what should be our conclusion here? We can conclude very easily that the Lorentz force is both electrical and magnetic in nature, and due to electric field, the charged particle will get accelerated. Okay, that means its velocity, its linear momentum and kinetic energy will be changing. Uh, Apart from that, since velocity vector is perpendicular to magnetic field, remember my previous session, when particle enters into the magnetic field perpendicular to the magnetic field, it will execute what? Uniform circular motion. So obviously the particle will have both the varieties of motion here. So this is what you have to remember. So I hope this part is clear to you all. Special case number 2. So what should be our conclusion here? Conclusion is very clear, that the particle will have change in its velocity, momentum and kinetic energy, as well as it will execute uniform circular motion, because velocity is perpendicular to magnetic field. So this is what we are supposed to remember, right? Now let's proceed to our next part. let's take a look at a special case number 3 here. Under special case number 3, I'll consider Lorentz force equal to 0. Under that situation, what happens, my dear friends? We know that Lorentz force is equal to vector Fe plus Fm is equal to 0. Correct? Because Fe plus Fm is 0, or Lorentz force is equal to Fe plus Fm. So because of that reason, Fe plus Fm is equal to 0 here. Thus, we can say that Fe, vector Fe is equal in magnitude and opposite in direction to magnetic field. So very clearly we can see that magnetic force and electric force, both of them are equal in magnitude, but they are opposite in direction. This one important point you please remember, and this is the same situation, or this is the same thing that we will be utilizing in our next part of discussion. So please remember this. So whenever Lorentz force is 0, we tend to see that the electric and magnetic force, both of them are equal in magnitude and opposite in direction. So by the virtue of this, what happens? Now let us see that. Hence, we can very easily understand that the charged particle will pass through the fields without any change in its velocity. That is, it will move undeflected, because see here, electric and magnetic force, both of them are equal to each other and opposite in direction. So very clearly the charged particle will never gain any acceleration or lose any acceleration because of this. So hence net change in velocity will be 0. Thus the particle will have what? Constant velocity motion. So hence it will move undeflected. That means constant velocity means constant in magnitude as well as direction. So because of that reason, the particle will move undeflected, my dear friends. So this is one very interesting case. Now let us see further, like what exactly we can derive out of it. So hence we can say, as magnitudes are equal, magnitudes of electric force and magnetic force, both of them are equal, we can very easily see that QE is equal to QVB. So because of that reason, we can very easily write V is equal to E by B. So V is equal to E by B is the condition for a particle to go undeflected in a cross field. So I hope you can make this out. Suppose you want to send a particle undeflected through a cross field, in the sense through a combination of electric and magnetic field. If you want to send a particle undeflected, then keep its velocity equal to ratio of magnitude of electric field and magnitude of magnetic field. So this is one important thing that you must remember. I hope this particular part is clear to you all. Now let's proceed to our next part. Now my dear friends, let's take a look at an application of Lorentz force. Now in third case, special case, we have seen that when Lorentz force is equal to 0, the velocity of the charged particle, we obtained it as the ratio of electric field to magnetic field. Now the same scenario, if I apply here, I'll get one very interesting application called velocity selector. The velocity selector, what it does is it is going to select those charged particles out of a large group of charged particles which possess a required amount of velocity. Suppose I require some charged particles traveling at a speed of say 3 into 10 raised to 4 meter per second. Then I will select these charged particles from a group of n number of such charged particles having different velocities. Okay, some might have 4 into 10 raised to 4, 5 into 10 raised to 5. So likewise, a mixed velocity might be present in that beam, and out of that beam, the velocity selector, what it does, it will select only those charged particles possessing the velocity of 4 into 10 raised to 4 meter per second. So under this scenario, we tend to see that the velocity selector is going to do that job. So imagine out of large number of charged particles, tiny charged particle, microscopic charged particles. If you want to pick only some of the charged particles at a required velocity, it requires a huge ask, no? So hence, because of that reason, velocity selector has been utilized, my dear friends. Okay, fine. So let us go ahead and define what is velocity selector. So velocity selector, it is a device used to select the charged particles of a particular velocity from a beam of charged particles having different velocities. So this is a very simple definition, my dear friends. Do you agree on this? Okay. So let's take a look at the construction and working of this particular velocity selector. When we take a look at construction of velocity selector is very simple. It contains two slits, S1 and S2, as shown on the screen here. S1 and S2 are the two slits. Slit implies the aperture, tiny gap, okay, so that with through this gap the charged particles can enter, okay, under a particular restriction. So thus a beam of charged particles can be very easily introduced by using a slit. Okay, and in between these two slits we have the cross field, electric field and magnetic field, as you can see on the screen. And there is a source which is kept outside S1, okay, on left side of S1, and this source is going to send the charged particles, okay, and these charged particles, they enter through S1 into the velocity selector. And when they enter inside, what happens here, my dear friends, is that the electric and magnetic field, both of them will provide or will exert a force on these charged particles. So I'll pick one such charge and I'll show you how the forces act. Okay, so the magnetic force vector Fm, it is going to act vertically upward. Okay, and here I have applied clock rule, and this clock rule I have already explained to you during my first session. Okay, you please recall back that. Okay, and electric force, it will be acting naturally vertically downward. Why? Because in special case number 3 we have seen that the magnetic and electric forces are equal in magnitude but opposite in direction. So because of that reason we get electric force vertically downward. So under this scenario, as you can notice, two forces acting, equal and opposite forces acting on the charged particles, they will definitely gain no velocity at all. And those charged particles bearing the velocity equal to E by B, those charged particles will have zero acceleration. Thus, they will start to move through this particular velocity selector's cross field undeviated. So hence those charged particles having V equal to E by B, how they move? They move like this. Very simply, they come out of the slit S2 undeflected. Then what about other charged particles which are possessing different velocities? Now those charged particles, they will get deflected backward. Okay, they will never come out of slit S2. So hence the charged particles bearing velocity V are separated from all the other charged particles. So is it not a selection, my dear friends? So this is velocity selector. So I hope velocity selector concept is very much clear to you all. Okay, now let's now for you people, this diagram I am showing, kindly draw this diagram in your notes. Okay, so this diagram is going to be the schematics of velocity selector. I hope this particular discussion on velocity selector is clear to you all. Okay, so with this note I am closing down my today's discussion, my dear friends. Okay, so I'll see you all with next session very soon. Thank you very much. Have a nice time.